Good morning, future me. It is the start of the second week of PA school. I just swapped cars with my sisters. Don't get it twisted. Nothing wealthy now. It's just an older car. Honestly, it's dark, so you can't even see the scuff marks right now. But all good, all's fine. Besides the point. Last time I recorded, it was in slow-mo. And it didn't even record the audio, which is tough. Tough. Wasn't able to salvage that, unfortunately. My good old friend and editor, unable to, didn't have it. All's good. What I was essentially saying at the end of last week was I was super, and honestly still am, super anxious and whatnot because one, I didn't have a laptop and I needed a laptop. Well, I mean, I'm gonna laugh at this in the future anyway. I had a laptop. Well, we had a laptop, right? Me and you. And I had a laptop that was 2018 MacBook Pro. Calm, fine, works great. Unable to update to the latest OS, but the previous OS, which is not bad either, right? And which was fine. So I've got a lockdown browser that needs to be downloaded and isn't able to be downloaded. Well, it is actually able to be downloaded. The only problem with it is that I guess I messed up the OS because previously we tried to play a video game called Smite, and they I guess Apple did an update of sorts, and they no longer or maybe Smite did, and they no longer supported Macs. And me and the boys wanted to play video games, so naive dumb me didn't think like, I mean, hey, I don't even need it, and I didn't need it for like what 6 years or so, right? So like, I mean, and we had some good hours on it, so so we messed with the OS to go back to an older version so that we can download it, and we did that, and we kind of messed it up and whatnot. And I mean, everything worked and everything was fine, and it didn't even matter. It's just that now it required a more recent OS, and my laptop, even though it updated and it worked, and the lockdown browser actually everything worked actually, but it would randomly shut off and turn off. I guess Apple is just low key like nah, something's wrong. Hit them with the file error, So they hit me with that, and it would randomly turn off. The inconsistency is not valid. I asked around trying to get a new laptop, find another laptop, see what works. I tried my uncle's laptop, like even just dealing with mine, it took me a minute. I went to Apple for 2 hours, well, like an hour and a half probably, and trying to fix it, resolve it. I sat there, right, and then literally all they did at the end of it was reboot the damn PC, and it lost all. I mean, I didn't have anything needed on that computer at the moment. They did have some family photos on there, but all wiped and gone, which is fine. I mean, I think my sister had already like saved it somewhere or something, so that's fine. So now we're at 30 minutes for something I could have done at home, right? That would have required me maybe 2 minutes. But I tried to resolve it, didn't work, whatever. So that had me very like anxious because now I need to figure out another resolution. And I really did not want another laptop. Like, I didn't want to buy a laptop. I don't need a laptop whatsoever. I have a PC, 3 monitors, you know what I mean, whole setup going. I had updated my CPU maybe a year ago or two, like my GPU is calm, like everything is like low-key solid, you know what I mean? Like, I don't do nothing crazy on it either. I don't need to make no models or anything on it. And even if I did, I probably could, right? Like, I don't have to do anything crazy on my computer, It doesn't work on iPads either. I bought a keyboard with an iPad, an iPad case keyboard. My older case was messed up, and now that's lacking too. Like, that, my iPad doesn't work. Well, you can't use an iPad to do the exam, which is like, damn it, I could have made it work. I for real could have made it work. You get an adapter, you get a wireless mouse, like, had the keyboard attachments, like I could make it work. Like, functionally it could work, but I guess it doesn't support it or whatnot, And so I can't even use my iPad, and that's what I planned to use initially. I tried another means, and I mean, I just tried to fix my laptop and my uncle's laptop for like a week, you know, and expecting and hoping that it would resolve, and honestly fumbled there because now I was getting closer to crunch time, and it's not working, you know what I mean? Like, I should have exhausted more options and like asked around further, you know. So eventually I started asking my boys and my friends for their laptops if they had an old one, something they didn't use, if they wanted to let me buy it off them or rent it off them or anything really. And you know, my bros Richards and Kevin and Maurice, they all like try to help me out, try to look into it. Pulled up on Richard, we played some video games. I mean, I shouldn't have spent as long. It was actually kind of fun though. We played Street Fighter, I think 6. It's kind of dope. Pretty cool. But low-key spent a little too long. But I mean, we were trying to get the laptop to work, so kind of had a reason, you know. Just kind of had an excuse. Turned out like he has a 2015 laptop MacBook, and it only works when it stays connected. You know, it stays at 0, so that is not valid, right? So that doesn't work, and I think it couldn't update or something, or whatever it is. But you know, that's inconsistent too. Like, you know, if I'm taking an exam, when I go reach for my water bottle and I go knock off the cable charger, that's tough. You know, like, again, like, I'm trying to avoid any inconsistencies because that's gonna mess me up bad. You know, and I'm not like no fumbles. You know, like, I should be stable. Like, the only thing I should really need to worry about is my mental, well, not my mental, but like what I know, my knowledge, right? Like, be able to like study and whatnot, right? My boy Kevin tried to presented me a 2004 laptop. My boys appreciate the gesture, you know, but like, I don't know about that one. Nothing personal, it's strictly business, you know. And Marie tried to help me out with his too, but he mentioned that his was like did overheat occasionally, and I think in theory it would have been fine and all right, but I honestly, I'm at a point where I don't really want to take chances. And my coworker too, Gano, great man, and he also had a, I think, 2015 MacBook, same problem as Richard, so I couldn't use that one either. So I'm like trying to exhaust every option of sorts, but you know, at the end of it, like, worrying about a laptop and like wasting my time not studying, like, has been like a fumble for me, like, you know, and that's not it. Like, I shouldn't have done that. So I'm gonna buy a new one, and that should ease my mind. And then I'm thinking I resell it after too, you know, like after my like 2 years or 2.5 years of like schooling, I resell it for like a decent price and like even make back even half of that, you know what I mean? Like, that's a band, you know, I can at least get half a band back, you know, and that would be calm. Like, I don't need it. And so in that sense, I think it would be the most worth it. And it would probably, like, if I were to buy a new laptop that did work and was consistent and was stable of sorts, you know, I think it would probably be like 400, 300, 500, you know what I mean? I think it would be around that range. Not that I know exactly. And that's if I were to buy like from somebody else. But the other thing about buying it from somebody else is that I don't know what they've done or what they could have done, or, you know, they could have messed with the OS and I don't know, you know, so I buy it off them and now the OS not working all of a sudden, and now it's like, shit, now I gotta go chase down this person, you know, like, it's a headache and a hassle that I don't want to deal with. I've gotta set up this car a little bit more. I've got the camera on the same thing I had before, but it's on the glass now. I don't know how I feel about that, but no, it didn't stick anywhere else. Speaking of which, I need to solidify that. It's about to drop. It'll probably drop on me. I'll do it once I get to school, I guess. Hopefully it lasts that long. I can't see it because the camera's blocking it. That had me super anxious and super worried, and just school-wise, like material-wise, it's a lot of volume. It's just a lot. In like 3 days, we went over everything I've learned. Like, not even 3 days. Like, in one class, I've learned everything I've done in terms of like cell biology in undergrad, you know what I mean? Like, we just bam, real quick, you know? And then same thing with like pharmacology, bam, like, you know, all the basics and just run down, you know? And it's like, damn, that's a lot, you know? And I gotta figure out what works and how to study and whatnot, and then actually sit down and study, you know? Initially, I hadn't been studying as really at all of sorts, and material was just kind of building up. I don't know why did I do that? Like, I don't know, and I guess I didn't know how to of sorts. Like, I've been out of school for like 2 years. I don't know. I'm just making excuses at this point. I'm an idiot, you know. I'm an idiot. But this weekend I've been studying some more and building flashcards and using Anki. I think I'll be better off that way. I've been feeling like I think anxiety kind of symptoms. You know, I don't typically have anxiety. Fortunately for me, alhamdulillah, right? I don't really have anxiety like that until like it's very stressful or whatnot. You know, but I guess that makes sense. That's kind of what happens, right? But I mean, my aunt. Some people get it worse than others. You know, just in my case, it just feels because prior to PA school, you know, I've always told myself and told like those around me like, yo, there's no backup, this is it, everything's here, you know, like whatever it takes to get in, you know what I mean? And once I get in, I can tread, you know what I mean? I'm not treading. I'm not treading water right now. Like I'm low key kind of, I can't even swim type, you know, like I can't. And so now it's like I've put a lot of weight on getting into school, and now that I'm here, every action feels heavy, you know what I mean, of sorts. Or like every exam, every thought of an exam or like thought of studying feels very heavy in the sense, you know. First things first is like awareness, right? Like knowing that is anxiety and whatnot. But the other thing I wanted to mention was that I started clenching my teeth, you know, like I've never done that before, you know, which is totally new, you know, and it's like, oh shoot, it's getting to me, oh nah, it's getting to me, you know, and I've never had anxiety like that before. I've had it like maybe during a existential crisis of sorts, you know, like a quarter life crisis of, you know, what am I gonna do with my life, what career path I want to go through and whatnot, you know. I've had it like, so I had it then, you know, but like I didn't even clench back then, you know, and wow, you know, I'm learning something new about myself of sorts, you know. But also, this happens to everybody though, you know, like I kind of put that into perspective in mind. Like everybody says like, yo, the first 2 weeks or first week is about like figuring out how to study and like kind of finding out what kind of works for you and things of that sort, you know. And that's where I'm at, that's what I'm doing. But it feels like I'm falling behind, and that's what scares me, and that's what's making me afraid, and that's what's like making me anxious and making me nervous, because, you know, typically how I beat anxiety, especially in studies and like classes, is to be prepared, right? Like I can be like the most prepared, and then I'm chilling, you know. I can ease my tension, you know what I mean? Like at least I'm putting my best foot forward, right? In this case, I'm not, you know, and that's what's making me anxious and trying to figure it out, and I don't want to fall behind, and like all the weight of this is PA school, you know what I mean? And all of that together is really messing me up of sorts, you know. But it helps to talk about it, you know. My boys always are listening, you know. We're overcoming, trying to overcome it, and like just even discussing anxiety is helpful, you know. I'm happy I have friends that'll hear me out, you know, which is awesome. But yeah, anxiety is up, you know. That was last week. All right. Oh, okay. I ain't missed my exit yet. That's the last thing I want to do now. Miss an exit. I'm trying to record a video. It's like, wake up, bruh. So this weekend I started studying, and I think my solution for now oh, sorry, buddy. My solution for now is anything I've got to like memorize or do anatomy wise is going to be like flashcards and Anki, you know. So building it that way, and I mean spatial repetition of sorts, you know, and trying to memorize it like that. I think that makes sense, you know. And science says and psychology says that it's the best way to memorize things and do things, you know. But physiology, pharmacology, and medicine, I'm thinking I do like concept maps, you know, and do it that way and do that way, because it's not necessarily about memorizing, it's about like understanding and comprehension, you know. So I'm thinking I create concept maps, you know. And I was like, anybody that's trying to enter PA school, I guess I recommend it. And honestly, any kind of like comprehension or understanding, concept maps are probably viable, and it really kind of connects all your thoughts and ideas, you know. And I think it's valid. So, but now my dilemma is volume and time, right? I have my first lecture of physiology was like cells and organelles and like things of that sort, and it's 158 slides, right? let's just say at 150, right? I think it is helping and with like understanding and like I can always go back to it and reference it whenever I need or want, right? So I think that'll be helpful too. But I only got up to 40. And that's just the first lecture. I've done two in just what's it called? What class was that? Physiology. I'm doing another one today, which is pharmacology. So, like, like I have a fraction of one. I have 5 sets, you know, and that's for two classes, two of the harder classes, pharmacology and physiology. Then there's still medicine, you know, and that had like a bunch of slides too. So now like, ooh, I'm shaking, you know. And I was telling my other friend slash classmate, you know, like this is, I'm like going manic of sorts, you know what I mean? Like to put on the Joker emo or Joker face, like I'm like I'm going manic, like yo, this is crazy, like you know, like what's gonna work, what's gonna happen, like I don't even know, like you know, I could have skipped the cell biology because like I mean that was all undergrad and I know it generally and understand it generally. I think I'm like okay at it and decent, right? But I decided to do it only because it'd be good practice with something I'm familiar with. You know what I mean? I think that would have been that's decent and that's the viable method. And I think especially for me, someone who hasn't really done it like that, I think that would have been that's a good idea to do. But building the flashcards too take up a while too. Like I created a Anki for like dermatology, and that thing was problematic too. Like that took me a while. It took me like 3 hours as well for like one set of slides. But like to be fair, that was like foundational material. That's what I was also thinking of and mentioning. Like it's kind of foundational in the sense that everything else kind of builds on that, like primary lesions, like skin lesions and stuff, and then secondary lesions, which are basically characteristics of the primary lesions. And that low-key tripped me up previously, but you know, I'm getting better and I'm getting decent, you know? That's like kind of fire. We have a class at 9 o'clock. This one's on Zoom, but I have to come before that Zoom class so I can make it to the class after that, you know, which is lame. I think my whole class is going to be on Zoom. Wait, I think everybody's going to be on Zoom. Do I have my headphones? I do. I think everybody's going to be on Zoom. What the hell? Why don't they just put the whole like class up on Zoom or like on the projector? Low-key a plan, like, not a bad idea. This week we have a test or quiz. They said 15 to 20 um, questions, but one of the higher classmates or classmen or woman sent because we have mentors and whatnot that they kind of set us up with if we request it, and so one of the other kids mentors sent him like an Anki of like basically module 1, which is what we're going to be studying, is 183 things, you know, that we have to like memorize and do. So I've got 4 days to do it. 3 days, really. 3 days to do it. I think, and I don't have another exam for a little while. So, like, you see, that's the problem, you know, because now I'm going like you know I've decided that you know what I'm gonna. Well, I'm making that decision now that let me just study for anatomy for like the next 3 days, pass that exam, but then everything else is just going to get backed up, you know. So I have to find that mojo, find that flow, and find what works, you know. And it's like it's stressful. It got me itching my head, literally, you know, like head scratches, like you know. So I guess we'll see. But hey, I'm here. I'm gonna eat a little bit of breakfast. Then I'm heading inside. 6:40 right now. I don't want to take too long with it. So, all right. I guess we'll see.